All right, it's 6:03. We'd like to bring this meeting to order this evening. If we could introduce the first applicant.
Wait a minute, you gotta read that on the top first.
Think about the governor?
Yeah, you have to read that.
All right, so in accordance with the provisions of the Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 5, the Adams Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 8th, 2020 at 6 p.m. pursuant of the Governor's March 12th, 2020 order superseding certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, GLC 30A 18. And the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations of the number of people that may gather in one place, this hearing will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible, and no in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted unless the Governor's order shall be rescinded and amended prior to the date and time of this hearing, in which case in-person attendance may be permitted at the Town Hall, 8 Park Street, Adams, Mass. Details for the remote participation will be made publicly available on the town's website, town.adams.mass.us, no less than 48 hours prior to the meeting. And the Zoom meeting passcode is 143538. The dial-in phone would be 1-929-436-2866. Meeting ID is 991-0676-2541. Passcode 143538. Okay, so at this point, we'd like to introduce the first applicant this evening, which is John Duquette Jr. for property located at 20 North Summer Street, requesting a variance under 125-4 of the Adams zoning bylaws to keep livestock, pets, goats, and potbelly pigs in a B2 zoning district. John, are you with us still?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. If you could just express to the board what your intentions are here.
Well, just like the last one, nothing's changed. I was just looking to keep our family potbelly pig and our goats that we had since they were little babies that we bought from the fairgrounds there. And in the back, there's no neighbors around anywhere. I own everything around it. There's no smell, no nothing. No, they don't bark, they don't bite, make any noise, nothing at all. And people like to see them when they come to Stanley's. All the contractors like to see them and feed them, hang out with their kids and their families there when they're buying products from the store. So I'm just looking for permission to leave them there. I did take them out of there and bring them to my house because that's what we had to do there. We got the sheds and stuff, and like I told you, we did before, and they're all at my house right now. But I took them out of there just in case this meeting doesn't go well, and if it does, then I'll bring them back down there probably in the spring. You know, that's pretty much it.
So are you looking to, based on what you just said, you're looking to keep the pets there part-time?
No, full-time. I just bought them home for now because of what's going on. So until I see what's going on for now, but I'll keep them here through the winter and start it back in the spring again because I've already got them situated at my house now. You know what I mean? I moved them all over just in case I didn't get the variance or because of the last meeting and stuff like that. You know what I mean? About the fining per day and all that.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the application by John? Okay?
Yes.
Are there any questions on the answers provided?
No. I can't say anything. I can't get involved. I'm friends with them, and I just think on side with it.
Okay, so,
I recuse.
okay. For the record, Wayne has,
Recused himself.
recused himself this evening due to a conflict.
The zoning bylaws, Glenn, the zoning bylaws do prohibit livestock in that zone, right? Correct. You know, that's what the bylaws say, and I'm not sure there's any, as soon as we grant a variance, we're changing the bylaws, in effect. And, usually changing bylaws, you have to go to a town meeting and all that kind of stuff. This is not a situation that I think is comfortable to grant a variance in, because I think it's going to lead to other people coming up with very similar requests. And then our bylaws basically are undermined. Again, I'm not comfortable with it.
I don't believe they've met the three criteria for variance. I don't see a financial situation in regards to this.
By the way, I have absolutely nothing against pot-bellied pigs or goats. They're unbelievable, adorable creatures, but it's we've got a zoning law to uphold.
I do agree that the zoning clearly, has language, qualifying livestock to be prohibited in a B2 district. However, he is listing these as pets. People do have some strange pets sometimes, snakes and different things like that.
That's a good point.
You know, I've seen, ferrets and snakes and fish and
Peacocks and...
yeah. I don't believe that these animals are there as any sort of revenue. I mean, it's not a farm.
If they're kept as pets, then I personally, again, this is Glenn, I personally no problem with it at all if it's kept as pets. But how do you tell whether their pets are just kind of there all the time? I guess if they were taken, it's like people who bring their dogs and things to work with them. Even though it might be a B2 zoning district, we would allow a dog in a gift shop or something like that. And not be a concern at all. If these go home with John, at least, for times, I have no problem with it. You know, I'd have less of a problem with it. And I don't think we're completely violating the zoning ordinance.
I mean,
We consider them as pets.
I would qualify a pet as an animal that you care for and love and take care of with no, no expectation of any financial gain having this animal at some point would, in my opinion, would qualify as a pet compared to a farm animal.
Yeah.
You don't sell these goats or pigs or nothing, do you, John?
No, we've had them now since they're little babies, almost 7 years now, I think. That's all they are, strictly pets. I'm not looking for any farm animals or nothing like that. These guys have some certain personalities, man. They're just like dog, you know. They take them for walks and just like animals. It's just like a regular dog or cat, like you were saying. It's basically falls in them guidelines there of that kind of animal. I'm not a farm by no means, or do any farming at all ever. So they're really not. I understand the circumstances. I get it, you know. But it is just strictly for pets.
So, my only job here is to remind you that if you go against the bylaw, and he only has a 2% chance of getting the variance, and you go against the bylaw, you're setting a precedent that you will not be able to refuse other individuals from having pets, like horses and sheep, on North Street. And I'm just here to remind you of your obligation to the bylaws of this town. But if you choose to do this, just remember you're setting a precedent for yourself that you will have to justify in each case when you get 15 cases on North Summer Street, for sheep, goats, chickens, pigs, whatever. And you'll have to justify each one of those cases. He has no justification in his 3 criteria questions for keeping these animals down there that meet the criteria. But I'll just leave it up to you guys to make that decision.
Well, you can't have horses anyways. You need to have, when it comes to a horse, it's a totally different thing. You got to have acreage for a horse, by law anyways. It's not like you could have a horse tied up in a little cage. I understand what you're saying.
Well, strict reading of the bylaws doesn't say anything about acreage for horses or any other cattle or anything else. It just,
It actually does. There is.
It does. Yes, it does.
in 125.4? No.
No, if you look at the back of the zoning bylaw book, there's a minimum acreage requirement
For farms and stuff, yeah.
for horses.
Oh, okay. That I haven't looked at, so I'll yield that point.
And again, it's in a business zone where it's not next to neighbors. I don't have any neighbors. I own everything around it. Which is, I mean, there's different circumstances. I mean, I wouldn't want a loud animal next to me, you know, quacking, going nuts all day either. If I had, you know, a little stamp-sized lot living, you know. So there's a little different circumstance here, being in a business zone with a lot of trucks and things going everywhere, people everywhere, you know, versus being at a house. So that will just help a little bit, you know. But
John, are there people that care for these animals in the evening when the business is closed?
yeah, our store manager lives in the house next door, and she takes care of the whole premises. She's like the caretaker of the whole place. So they feed them and water right there every day and night. 365 days a year, yeah. They take them for walks with their kids and so on and so forth, just like a dog or anything else. So yes, to answer your questions, yes.
You know, one thing that I'm aware of, you know, the fact that you mentioned that you had the animals for 7 years now, I mean, that, to me, really qualifies them as a pet. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have an animal for 7 years and just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, they would still be in the house if they didn't get so big for the house.
Gotta build a bigger house. Scale up.
And you know, I just spent, you know, for farm animals, I don't see people spending $5,000 for sheds. You know, I just spent $5,000 for 2 beautiful sheds that I plan on putting down there in the spring if this is allowed. So it's presentable. It's not eyesore. Nobody can see anything, and they're brand new right from sheds and stuff. I don't think too many people are going to buy things for farm animals that cost $5,000 to keep them in. You know, so you know, in this predicament that it's more pet than farm animals.
If you look at the back of its own bylaw book, there's a criteria there for zoo animals for exhibit, and it is allowed in a B2 district with a special permit.
Well, this doesn't fall under that, under zoo.
Well, yeah, I guess not, but
Yeah.
is there any mail sort on this? Is anybody aware of? Guessing no. Probably would have seen it.
I talked to Pam this
Yeah.
morning, she didn't say anything about it.
Is there anybody else on the Zoom call?
Tammy Daniels logged in. She has herself muted.
Sorry, what?
She has herself muted at the moment, but she's logged in.
Is there anybody on the Zoom call that would like to speak about this case this evening? What did you say her name was? Tammy? Tammy Daniels? Is there any other questions?
Motion to deny the variance, it has not met the criterion for a variance.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So the motion is to deny the variance based on lack of criteria being met.
Correct.
With a second. We can take a vote on that.
In favor?
In favor?
Agreed.
Agreed? And agreed. So unfortunately, John, your variance has been, your application has been denied tonight due to the board feeling that the criteria wasn't met for the variance this evening.
Okay.
There wouldn't be a decision notice for that, would there? No, not affirmative, right?
Decision notice? What about? Will there be a decision notice upon that?
Yeah, you have to give a decision on something tonight.
Okay, so there'll be a decision notice prepared within 14 days. It will be picked up with Pam at the building inspector's office, and at which point there'd be a 21-day appeal period. Okay. So John, you could follow up with, Pam in the building inspector's office?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, bye.
Okay, is there any, old business this evening?
Doesn't seem to be.
Is there any new business?
Still no.
No new business, no old or new. I believe we have to, look at the minutes from 2000.
Motion to
Ju-
approve
July-
minute for July 14th, 2020. Second.
That's one.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to review the minutes?
Give me just a moment, so I skim through it. Okay, great, okay. Good with that. I move to accept the minutes of July 14th, 2020 as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the minutes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? You got a
Second.
second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.